In this McTaggart Attack, I am going to be giving my thoughts on the Batman. There will be spoilers in this review. If you don't want spoilers, don't watch this video yet. Wait, go watch the movie, and then watch this video. Or, if you want spoilers, go ahead. Watch me talk about it. I might spoil some things, and you might hear those spoilers. But that's on you, because you're the one that's going to be watching this, even after I told you that there are spoilers in it. So, don't fucking blame me, asshole. I'm a huge Batman fan. He's my favorite comic book person, superhero, vigilante, whatever the fuck you call him. I don't care. Love Batman. 2 years ago when this movie was announced and the director was picked. Matt Reeves is the director. And then Robert Pattinson was Batman. I didn't really know what to think of this. I knew Matt Reeves would do a good job with it. Didn't know how Robert Pattinson would be as Batman. Then about a year ago, I saw the preview, and I'm like, okay, yeah, he's definitely gonna be a great Batman. That's for sure. I went and saw the movie on Thursday, March 3rd, the night before it opened. I'm still speechless, really. I still really don't know what to think of it all. But the one thought that comes to mind is this movie had everything I wanted in a Batman movie. What do I mean by that? It was dark. It was gritty. It wasn't flashy or flamboyant. As much as I love the Adam West Batman TV show, I wanted a Batman that was dark and gritty, and this Batman was definitely dark and gritty and I want to say realistic, even though it's a comic book, so realism isn't really a thing when it comes to comic books. But I just felt like the realism here was great. It's hard to explain the realism type things, like the realism, how Batman, does some things. He escapes in some ways that, some extreme sports type stuff he does, and he doesn't climb up a building, but he does run down a building, with like a cable and stuff like that, and realism like that, which I guess might have been an homage to like the 1960s Batman in some ways, but still this is how a modern day Batman, this is really a modern day Batman, especially with how the Riddler was portrayed. Loved how the Riddler was portrayed. Loved how that was all like revealed. I was afraid that like the Riddler seemed a lot like the Joker, but then I think we met the Joker at the end of the movie. Everyone in it did a great job. I was excited to see John Turturo in a Batman movie as Falcone. John Turturro's great in everything, and John Turturro's in a Batman movie, which is fucking awesome. Jeffrey Wright was just a fantastic Lieutenant Gordon. Was he Lieutenant? He wasn't commissioner yet. He hasn't become commissioner yet. I assume that will happen in future movies, but he's not the commissioner yet. But his character's relationship with Batman was I felt like it's a stronger relationship than the other Batman Commissioner Gordon relationships in the other Batman movies. This might have been the strongest relationship between Commissioner Gordon and Batman with this movie. I felt like, talk about relationships again, the relationship between Alfred, played by Andy Serkis, and Batman / Bruce Wayne, you know, it's kind of tense, and then by the end of the movie you see, you know, how much they truly do love each other, because they're the only family each other has. And I felt like that relationship was explained great. It's right up there with the Michael Caine, Christian Bale Alfred Batman relationship. You know, it was very well done. Matt Reeves is just a great director. I like a lot of movies he's done. I loved the Planet of the Apes movies he did. I don't know what else he did. Did he do Cloverfield? I don't know. I didn't research. But we're not talking about Cloverfield. We're talking about the Batman. We're talking about the Batman in this movie. Zoe Kravitz was spectacular as Catwoman. Holy shit, the relationship between her and Batman was great. Batman had, like, what, 3 relationships in this movie. Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, Catwoman. All of those relationships were portrayed excellently in this film. She's better than Anne Hathaway. Zoe Kravitz is better than Anne Hathaway. Not sure she's better than Michelle Pfeiffer, but I'm not ranking here. I thought she was great. Zoe Kravitz was fantastic. And the chemistry between her and Robert Pattinson was very, very good. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, that was good shit. The car scene, the car chase scene was fucking awesome. I already mentioned Paul Dano as the Riddler. He did a great job. Even though you don't see his face, you don't fucking have to until the goddamn end of the movie. The soundtrack was great. Set a great tone for the entire fucking movie. The goddamn soundtrack has been stuck in my head since I saw the fucking movie yesterday. It was just great storytelling all around. I felt like it was like a coming of age story for Batman. Because he went from wanting to be known as Vengeance to realizing that he had to be a lot more than Vengeance. That Vengeance isn't going to fix anything. That's the message I got from the Batman, was that Vengeance wasn't going to fix anything. And I think Batman realizes that lesson by the end of the movie. And it was a good origin story. We had 3 origin stories for the Riddler, Catwoman, and Penguin. So I'm really looking forward to see how that develops. I think there are some series coming up on HBO, but HBO Max, I mean. But it's great. It was such a great movie. Loved it. This Batman wasn't the all flashy, you know, bat pole 1960s flashy Batman. You know, he was very grounded. I loved how he would appear out of the shadows, you know, and slowly, not like quickly, but slowly out of the shadows, you know, to put fear in the hearts of people. The first 10-15 minutes of the movie was fucking amazing. The Batman was fucking spectacular, and I think it was just, I almost want to say that it might be the best Batman movie ever. I'm not sure though. I like that Batman was in most of the movie, and that the movie was 3 hours, and that was fucking great. That Batman was the primary player in this movie. He wasn't a supporting character as he's been in other Batman movies. You saw him in most of the scenes. And I loved that. And I loved this movie. And I can't wait to see it again. Because it was that fucking good. And that's the bottom line. If you smell what the McTaggart Attack is cooking.